Breaking in the last few hours, Minnesota's chief federal judge has ordered acting ICE Director Todd Lyons to appear in court. The judge citing repeated failures by ICE to follow court orders granting detained immigrants bond hearings and warnings of possible contempt.
The orders also claim that ICE ignored rulings by extending detentions or transferring detainees out of state, calling these violations, quote, extraordinary after patience had run out.
Now, the move sets up a potential clash between the federal judiciary and the Trump administration amid a surge of ICE enforcement and related legal challenges in Minneapolis.
All right, we're going to bring in our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes, to talk about what this means. Khalif, you have the order there. I have the order here as well. The court will hold this hearing Friday, January 30th at 1 p.m. Courtroom 15, and he must appear in person to show cause. And the court order is saying, we know this is extraordinary, but this is an extraordinary situation.
Yeah, judges speak through their orders. I say it all the time. So this case happened January 14th. Petitioner signed a habeas petition asking the judge to bring the body. That's what a habeas petition is, and grant me a hearing for a bond hearing. The judge ordered 7 days for that hearing to occur. The 23rd appeared. Petitioner's counsel notified the court that a hearing had not taken place. And the judge, what the younger kids say, they had the time. Yeah, the judge had the time in this order. The court has been extremely patient with respondents, even though respondents decided to send thousands of agents to Minnesota to detain aliens without making any provision for dealing with the hundreds of habeas petitions and other lawsuits that were sure to result. Respondents have continuously assured the court that they recognize their obligation to comply. But the next paragraph is where you can see the court's frustration. The court's patience is at an end. So this judge is clearly frustrated with, I'm directing and telling you to do something, and you're clearly not following my order. That's why the show cause is issued. A show cause is you now coming to court and explaining to me why you failed to follow my order. It's either a couple things. Either my order was ambiguous or you just disregarded my order. There's only two options. Either you didn't understand what I told you or you just blatantly didn't want to follow what I told you. And I've seen a number of these show cause hearings that see judges say exactly that. My order was clear. I told you to do it within 7 days. You failed. Explain.
Okay, so Khalif, we don't know 100% what that explanation could be as to why they didn't follow the order. Could it be because there continues to be this battle of, I putting myself in his position, I work for a federal agency, you are a state agency, what I'm being told, what I can do, sort of carte blanche, I don't necessarily need to follow the state rules. That's lower as far as the process. Does that have something to do with it?
That would be good if this was a state judge. This is a federal judge. This is a federal judge telling them to comply with a federal order. So this federal U.S. District Court judge, who's the chief of that district in Minnesota, is saying, I've given you an order to follow it. And even if it was a state court judge, which it would be rare, but in this scenario, a federal judge has granted an order. Any judge's order either has to be followed or appealed. But non-compliance is not an option. I mean, typically, if you weren't a government agency and it was just you or I, and we failed to comply, the judge is bringing us in for this show cause, and we're probably going to jail. You're going to have a fine, you're going to have some monetary connection, but it's going to end in jail time if you don't have a legitimate reason to why I just disregarded your order.
Okay, so let's let's talk about the reason why the ICE chief is getting called in there in the first place. They're saying that detainees have been denied due process, right? So what is actually happening versus what's supposed to happen?
What's supposed to happen is if the judge grants them an opportunity to have a bond hearing, they're supposed to get a bond hearing. What the Trump administration is doing is flying these folks from Minnesota to Texas. And so they're not even giving them an opportunity to be heard. And so then what they're doing, and the judge says it in order, when they get to Texas, you're either deciding that, okay, I'll just release you in Texas, and then you can, as he says here, figure out a way to get home. So that's what's happening. And the judge is saying that has caused a extreme burden and extreme consequences of hardships on these individuals. And that type of thing is what the judge is saying needs to be avoided.
All right, again, our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes, weighing in on that for us. Khalif, thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.